blizzard flow. Hash in the hush of a frozen town. Snow on the roof, but the core's burned down. Maple on pancakes, wallet on fire. Frost on the glass, clocks running higher. Canada night, sky sharp as steel. Numbers go brrr, this is how it feels. We're mining in a hailstorm, hearts on boost. Monero in the wallet, cutting loose. Zephyr in the pipeline, charts go zoom. Frostbite fingers in a neon room. Canada cold, but the grid runs hot. Snow blind eyes on the
Alrighty, what is going on? How is everybody doing today? Everyone doing good? Everyone doing awesome? What is today? Friday. Today's Friday. Things are happening on Fridays because the weekend's after Friday, depending what you do. Rio6969, I see you over there. What is going on the Twitch there? Spambot, I see you over on the Kickster and Rockin' Live. We got 29 viewers, 2 likes, guys. Come on, smash that like button. We need some more likes out there because no one else is liking the crypto market. So I do see some pirates in the house. We got Willow Blop. What is happening? 6778. Pow Block Chain Mining is in the house. We got the pirate again. What is that? Suckabone. Use of Putz is in the house. The one and only
Nuclear power plant Rod Potts
is in the house. What is happening? Continuing on, I see LL Cool J. Just kidding, that's LLJJ92. What's going on? BCH2 is forking off BC2. Buy and get free coin, bro. BCH2 is forking from BC2. So there's a fork emerging from BC2 called BCH2. Like Bitcoin Cash 2? Is that what's happening? Oh wow, they're gonna run their own ecosystem where they could have, 10-day block times there as well. Awesome, sounds good. Alberta brother, nice. Oh, we're from Alberta, sweet. Unless I probably know that name now if it was your normal name, but it's all the weirdo names, so I don't know who anybody is. Well, I do, but I don't. If that makes sense, depending on the name. We got Pablo. Okay, Pablox. X9 giveaway by Rabid. I wish. Sorry, can't do that. Who knows? Who knows what's going on with the X9? Oh, man. Rabid, see this. What's Yusuf saying here? The X402 protocol is an open standard chain algorithmic protocol developed by Coinbase. What is that? I don't even know what that is. What's that mean? What are we talking about there? Who cares what Coinbase does? I don't know what that is. This is supposed to open up blockchain. Open up to what? Hackers? I don't know. I don't know what any of that is. I don't follow any of that stuff. I follow mining stuff. I don't care about anything else that's going on with anything that anybody else does. If it has something to do with the exchange, stay off the exchange. Like, what do we do? We saw there was a tweet there. I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter or not. If not, follow me at Mining Rabid, not Rabid Mining, but Mining Rabid, because I think someone had Rabid Mining. But BZ, Binance man there, was telling people on his Twitter, which is loaded with accounts, it gets millions of views anytime he says something because people are obsessed with him for some reason. I don't know why. Like, who cares? This is CZ. This is an exchange. It's Binance. Big whoopity hoo-ha. Don't really care. But he is telling people that, we're a store of value. Hold your coins on the exchange. We're the safest exchange to use as a bank is pretty much what he was saying. And I'm like, are you an idiot? Like, no. Does people forget about FTX already? Like, people trusted them 100%. One of these days, Binance could eventually fall. And if it does, there goes everybody's money. So who cares who is? Like, even if Elon Musk started running the exchange, I'd say don't hold your coins there, because who the hell cares about who is? Who cares about who people are? We're all equal in God's eye, right? So who cares who is who? It doesn't matter. People just, think because someone has $1 billion that they're, awesome. They're not. They're just another person. So who cares what CZ says? Who cares what the exchange? Binance is just another exchange with a lot of people. And in reality, you can do the same thing on ZX is hacked and stuff now, so you can't use that. But I mean in general, Kraken, you can do the same stuff there as you can on Binance. It doesn't matter. So anyway, he's saying store of value. Hold your coins on there because they're safe. No, don't ever hold your coins on an exchange. Who cares what exchange it is? Don't hold them. Be safe. Hold your own coins. Bottom line. Anyway, continuing on. Browser will have built-in payments. Okay. That don't really matter. Like, until we see actual stores, like Monero actually has a website for buying and selling anything. I can't remember what it's called now, but you can buy and sell everything at like a legit marketplace like eBay, but only for Monero. I can't remember what it's called. Oh man, Monero buy and sell. Maybe I can't remember what it is. Not Get Monero, not merchants. Anybody know the name of that website? I was looking at the other day. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, there's a site out there that's directly buying only thing. Anyway. Which God's eye? Answer carefully. There is only one God. Oh, man. Oh, what do we got here? Silk Road, Zapire, what's going on? The world is ending, fully electric. Everything's crazy right now. Everything is crazy. But we're not here to talk about any of that. We're here to talk about crypto mining and stuff. And it's looking pretty darn rough. But let's talk about this. I don't know. Did you guys see this video the other day that I released here? Major Bitmain X9 miner update, nerf hammer incoming, and all this stuff. So we expected low. So originally, we were talking about the 30% thing. We went through that, and then we went through this article here, and this is a pretty big deal. So I did watch Panda's stream. What was it? Was it 4 days ago, 5 days ago? I can't remember. He was streaming there, and someone in the chat said they pre-ordered 10 X9s. I don't know if they just said that or they actually did, but holy crap. Now, still don't get me wrong. Like, we have to wait till this thing is released. But this is a big deal where obviously we know the power is going to be the same. So it's going to be about 2,450 watts no matter what. But the hash rate we were expecting before was around 30% nerf in hash rates, of which would still make this thing absolutely awesome. But now it's looking like if they guess the hardware right, so they're assuming what they know is in the hardware, and hopefully they guess the hardware right, but you could probably see more than a 50% nerf. More than 50, not a 50, but probably more than 50% if they guessed right. So that means this thing right from the get-go, by release date, as it looks right now, could go from 1 mega hash to 500 kilohash of a miner for 2,400 watts. That's still pretty darn good. That's still really good. Now it's making it a slightly better X5 at this point, which makes some sense and stuff. But also says probably more. And then there was a previously post. I can't remember what it was when we first seen this 30% one, and it's probably leading into this. But as they tweak more, we could see even larger nerfs. So I'm assuming they're probably constantly going to be tweaking this algorithm a little bit, probably. And then who knows? What if it could end up at a 60 to 80% nerf? Like, what if this thing comes out at only 200 to 300 kilohash from its original numbers of only one mega hash, and when it finally releases, it's only going to be like 300 kilohash? That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. And also in that video, I created this, so I just want to see if I can find it here. So where's my programs here? Captures. I don't know if you guys are able to hear. Is it captures? Captures. Where's my effects? I can't find my effects folder. Captures. Oh, effects, AI, and stuff I made here. Where is it? Scammer ASIC. This was in a video too. I like that one. But look at this one. You guys kind of hear this X here. Let's see if I can play this for you guys. Let's see if it'll show up here on the desktop. Mute my mic for a second.
This X9 miner is a steal at this price. Hold on. The label says 1 mega hash. It is, but it's optimized for stability. Optimized? Nerf to 300 kilohash. Look, the price is firm.
It's optimized for stability. Optimized. It's just 300 kilohash. Price is firm. Oh, man. I thought that was funny. I was laughing my head off. I watched that thing 100 times. But it was in that video, and it was funny. I was laughing my head off. Hopefully, you guys got a little chuckle out of that. But anyway, so what do you guys think about that? Like, what do you guys think, like, the possible nerf on this thing that's possibly coming? Now, I'm still getting a few X5s. However, I am not going to pre-order. Yeah, I would definitely not be pre-ordering, because by the time it releases, it might only be like $1,000. Because we obviously have Monero. It's going to continue to crash. But, let's run some numbers now to get an idea. Now, I don't know where I have my original X9 numbers. Is it in here? Is it somewhere else? I got so many different mixed up stuff here. New X9. Okay, here's the new X9 where I was kind of doing some numbers here. Let me just see if is this. No. Well, no, I don't quite have one. No. I guess we can kind of see this one. So anyway, new X9. Now let's try X9 nerf. We're gonna have to make this bigger and make it bold as well. All right, so X9 nerf. So we're gonna take a look. So right off the get-go, we'll start right now. We know it's gonna be 500 well, we don't know for sure, but possibly 500 kilohash. It's still going to be using 2,472 watts. And I do want to point out, I asked a new question. It was just today I actually asked it, so I don't know what the response is. But how are 7950X and 7950X3D CPUs looking so far based on your calculations? So I'm wondering, because we're seeing such a big nerf on here, if we're going to see even a bigger boost on these. Because remember, we're also supposed to see increased hash rate or possibly even reduction of power on our good CPUs on these gens. So it's going to be interesting to see, because remember, this is being brought down, but these are also being brought up. It's not just a nerf for these. That's not what Random XV2 is doing. It's, yes, nerfing the X5 and 9 a bit, but it's also increasing performance or at least efficiencies on our newer CPUs. So we still have to see which way this is going to go up, which is going to bring, obviously, even if nothing was to happen here, this is a dominant effect. It wasn't nerfed at all, but we're still going to see better efficiencies and numbers on our CPUs, which brings, in theory, the comparison between the X9 and this even better, but still, you know, obviously the X9 would be a dominant. So we still have to wait for the numbers to see how our CPUs are actually doing. Now, whether it's going to be an increase in hash rate, a decrease in power, or maybe both, increase in hash rate and decrease in power, that'd be awesome, but we just don't know how it's all going to work yet. But we are supposed to see better efficiencies on our normal CPUs as well. I think a lot of people are forgetting that, because going through my Discord, I do see some people kind of mentioning this. Now, let me just bring this up for a second as well. Because it looks like people are forgetting that we're also supposed to get a little better efficiencies across our normal CPUs here, but I just got a K coming into here. Oh man, now my computer's freezing. Now it's not. Let's go programs. All right, let's just go CPU talk here. So what's RAM now? What's RAM? 2 rigs down, power spawn. 2 rigs down. Okay, no one knows. However, export tanks will however be dead in the water regarding hash rate. Can't remember where the heck it was. X9 might equal, yeah, the extracted. I don't remember where it was, but I think people are forgetting. They're just looking at the nerf and saying, well, our stuff is still going to suck. But we're supposed to also see increase in efficiency. So I do want to point that out to everyone as well. Remember that our CPUs are also going to be a little bit better as well. We just don't know the numbers on that. Anyway, continuing on here, let's just, run some efficiency numbers now. So I guess it'd be half. So in theory, this would drop down to like 202, 202.53. What is that? Kilohash to hash? Is that what I had there? What the heck kind of number do I got going on there? There we go. So let me just kind of hash to watch here. Let me see. 222. So 500 kilohash would be 500,000 hashes. Divide that by 2472. Yeah, 202.26. So this would be actually 0.26. Now, top of my head here, what is a 7950X? If I come in, I just need to bring, I just gotta find these quick. RX A6 24. Where the heck? The 9950X. Oh, here we go. Now what do I got going on here? What are these? So obviously still a lot more efficient than these, but it's a lot closer. Where we're seeing right now, here's the 9950X, 153.38 hashes to watt. So really that's only an extra 52 hashes per watt. So 50 extra hashes. That's still a big boost, especially when you start adding up hashes and stuff. But the efficiency, even at a 50% nerf, is so much closer now. So yeah, that's crazy. Plus, we don't know what kind of efficiency boost we're gonna see from ours. So what if they end up the same efficiencies? That would be pretty awesome. That'd be pretty darn amazing if our 7000 series end up at the same efficiency as the possible X9. That'd be huge. Now, obviously, pricing is still going to be better on the X9, most likely, especially with RAM costs going through the roof. So now let's just kind of work this out. So in terms of 500 kilohash, this would be 22. That's all right. 500 500 divided by 22, we'll be cutting that in half now. So instead of 47.39, we'll need 22.72. So let's go 22.7950 X's now. That would be using about 22 times 160 watts, about 3520. Now we're at 3,520 watts happening on CPUs, which is a little over 1,000 watts more. But we can see it's a lot closer together now, in terms of efficiency and numbers. And then obviously the cost to purchase this thing before would be around 47,000. That's before RAM prices went up. Now we're looking at about 22,000 Canadian, 22K Canadian. Let's just kind of put that. Hold on. 22, 123 CAD to USD. So that'd be about 16,000 USD. In terms of hardware. That's now RAM prices are a lot higher, so you might have to make that like, I don't know, $1,600 a CPU, times that by 22. That's 35,200, which would be, let's go 35,000. And that would put it to $25,000 US with the current RAM prices. So obviously, $5,000 is still looking a lot better than the CPUs, even at this 50% nerf. Now, what if it ends up as a bigger nerf? We don't know, and we still don't know what type of like the boost that we're going to see on a normal CPU. So we still got to wait for test sets and stuff. But even from this initial news, we're already seeing that CPUs are looking a lot closer in comparison. Yes, the X9 is still a little bit better and things like that. But, overall, like it's just looking now like it's a nice step up from the X5. Because the X5 was about pretty close to being on par with your traditional CPUs. It was also still cheaper than building the same amount of CPUs, and it was about the same, maybe slightly better efficiency. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, so maybe we'll have to run some numbers here. So let's just look at the X5. That was what, 212 kilohash. I hit 3 or 4 solo blocks of Monero just with the X5 alone, before I sadly don't have it anymore. And I really wish I did, because again, that's one of my favorite miners. And, I'm not going to be able to afford the X9, but, if I get it sent out to me, that will be my new favorite miner. But we're still looking at this, though, that it's not as big of a boost that we originally thought. Now, because it's going to be still more efficient, we can't say that. But the way it's looking right now, it's still going to be more efficient. So this is still going to be what you want. If you're mining Monero through the bear market, or you want to be a Monero miner in general, the X9 is still going to be probably the hardware you want, even though it's not looking that good or anything. If you're a Monero miner, and remember, there might open up for some other coins. Maybe they'll release firmware for Zep and stuff. That's all still up in the air. I would not bet on it. I would not do anything like that. X5 has no updates for anything else other than straight random X fork. So keep that in mind. If it's a straight Monero fork, then the X5 and stuff worked on it. I would not expect anything different out of the X9. If you're purchasing the X9, you purchasing it to mine Monero and Monero only. Maybe, some Monero forks, but you're not going to be mining Zep. Don't expect that. If we get a bonus firmware for it later on, awesome. But I really don't think that's going to happen. No matter any rumor or anything you hear out there, it's exactly like the X5. X5 didn't see any updates for anything, so I don't see it being any different for the X9. It's not a magical new firmware that they have in there. It's the exact same principle that the X5 had, but with newer chips. So just keep that Remember that, guys. Don't expect it to be able to mine. If you mine it and expect other coins to open up for it, and it doesn't work, then you're gonna be sad. But if you get it and it does end up working on other coins, obviously that's gonna be awesome, and it's just an extra thing on there. But don't expect that to happen is kind of what I'm putting there. So anyway, so this is, it's definitely, if you're gonna be a Monero miner, though, that is the machine you're most likely still gonna want, even with this nerf. But again, we're still gonna have to see how CPUs played out. But even just when it comes to the cost, $5,000 the way it is right now is still way cheaper than building CPUs. And $22,000 versus, or 16,500 or whatever it was in USD versus their 5,000 versus, I guess Canadian would be 8,000 versus 22,000. But the point here is, for the price and comparison, the X9 is still, based on this, the dominating thing for Monero mining. You're going to want this for Monero. A lot of people, I'm not going to buy that. This is going to be used. This is going to be, remember, people, like, we're home miners. We need profitability. Our power prices are expensive, but you got to stop thinking about profit and all this stuff all the time. I know that's hard to say. Like, that's all I think about. I don't have anything running because nothing's profitable. But in terms of overall, like, no one's going to buy this. No one's going to do that. That's 100% wrong. People are going to buy these. Even though you don't, just because you're not going to buy it and you don't think, you think it's worthless and, nothing's going to happen, that's okay. That's 100% fine. That's your decision. But people are going to buy these no matter what. People are going to buy them. So you got to open up your mind and, realize that, yes, it might look like crap to you, but to other people, it's looking amazing. I just pointed out that in terms of price and efficiencies and stuff, this is going to be the dominant miner. So if you want to mine Monero, you should buy this. But, a lot of us with power price and stuff, we're not going to be able to purchase or buy one of these or anything like that. But there are going to be people buying them. They're probably going to sell it fast. We don't know how much they're going to have in their batch. If there's anything like the X5, we wait longer than 2 months, we'll probably never see one. So that's the other issue we got going on here. So it's going to be interesting to see, but just keep in mind, by the time it actually releases, there's a good chance it could also be 50% cheaper because of Monero and everything crashing down to nothing. Because, like, let's just look at Monero and the markets and everything right now. It's traditional bull bear cycle happening. We're moving into the bear market. Don't expect Monero to be higher. Maybe Bitmain will do a magical pump again. I have no idea. But for the most part, it's not going to happen. We're going to be sitting back to probably $200 or less, by summertime, most likely. So we'll see what happens. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out and moving forward. So now let's just jump into the comments, see what you guys are saying about all this. So I do see you. I see Mom's there. What's going on? How about them crypto prices? Those crypto prices suck. My GMA holding went from 10K to 1K. Ouch. That sucks. But I think you got more than me. Like, I'm really in a rough time right now where I don't know what I'm going to do, like, moving forward. Like, I am running out of crypto because everything's so low and to cover bills and costs. And it's just, yeah, I might have to take a break for a while and do something else, like go back to work or something and not make videos for a while. It's getting to that point where it's pretty darn close. So things are really rough. What do we got here? Functionality, come to, what is this? Another, what's it called? Another bot happening over there in the Kickster. It's like, that's all they do. All right, trying to scroll up in the Tubester chat here just to see what everybody is saying. Oh, Red Putt saying you sound sick. Yeah, I didn't do many videos last week, as you guys noticed. Maybe you didn't notice, but yeah, I didn't do any videos last week because I lost my voice again and I'm all plugged up, so I'm feeling a little better now. But yeah, I'm not 100% yet. So yeah, I'm a little sick on the sick moment. But anyway, Game with Smokey Dan, what's happening? Not mine as not on there. What? Which ads are, oh yeah, okay, we went to that, the God's Eye there. Okay, where are we at? Where we started talking about this? Still getting the X5s, you see that? Lukewarm Tech, guys, the X5 is non-existent. Anyone saying they have them is lying, for real. Like, have them for sell? Probably. Unless someone is trying to sell it. Maybe someone's trying to capitalize a little bit on it because of the Monero price still decent. But yeah, for the most part, they're not, like, yeah, there's hardly any out there. Like, they're probably, people are getting scammed left, right, and center with the X5s. This is why I tell everyone, client, to not pre-order crap. No Z15 Pros, no X9, no T3. Yeah, for sure. That's another one. Those Z15 Pros or whatever that Bitmain has coming out, when they released the pre-orders, when they were making like $70 a day, and now what are they making? Like, where's mining now here? Like, what are they making now? Like, I don't even know. Yeah, it's $14. Like, it looks like it's doing good because it's in third place, but it's actually not. It's only $14. at 12-cent power, $14 profit. So yeah, Bitmain is pre-order. Remember, some people were buying these things for $10, $12, $13,000. I don't know what Bitmain is pre-ordering these at, what, 35, 5,000. But remember, before this even pumps up, probably about 7 months ago at this point now, people were buying Z15s and Z15 Pros for what? $50, $150, and then they exploded. And now Bitmain's releasing a new batch. So I've explained this in the past as well on why this also remained profitable, because a lot of people, they forget about things. And this is something you got to realize too, especially before pre-ordering this. One, Zcash may never pump again, and we don't know where it is on its proof of stake because it's really hush about that right now. It could be proof of stake tomorrow for all we know. But keep in mind, it's been in the pipeline. It's been like over 4 years since they were talking about it, but still, it's been mentioned and in the pipeline that it could go proof of stake. That's a major hit, number one, because then this would be dead day one. There are other coins out there, but they all suck. Now, moving forward, because Bitmain opened the pre-orders for this when everything was profitable, people were pre-ordering because, oh yeah, this is an awesome coin. The FOMO stage kicked in for the pre-orders. Now, because it also remained so profitable is because the price remained high for a decent amount of time for an altcoin. That was actually pretty awesome. But there's no other hash rate to come online. Once all the old machines turned on, that's as much hash rate as can go online. And it stayed profitable because not enough hash rate was actually there to bring it down in profitability like we would see with the majority of coins. Because Zcash was never popular. So there weren't that many miners ever built, ever sold, and ever used. So keep that in mind. Now that Bitmain is actually releasing more batches because of the FOMO drive, there's going to be more hash that wasn't there previously that can go online. So even if Zcash, say, next run in 2029, if it goes to $700 again, and these are making $75 a day at that point, there could be double the hash rate. We don't know the batch. I mean, instead of 74, these might only be making like $30 a day at $700 Zcash again, because now there's over double the hash rate that actually came on. So you still won't, it's going to be less profitable. Zcash will have to actually hit new all-time highs, which again, we might never see even happen. It might never hit an all-time high again for all we know, because it hasn't done anything it skipped last cycle, didn't even do anything last cycle, but now we see this. So keep that in mind, is there's actually going to be more hash rate if Zcash even pumps again in its lifetime for, it's going to be less profitable depending on what it pumps to. So that's another thing you got to keep in the back of your mind, is there's going to be more hash out there available on that one. So does that mean my AM4 platform for 10x will still be worth mining, or should I box up my RAM and sell for double I paid for? So the 59, I can't remember. I did older videos. It was all on paper. I should redo some of those videos. Do I have 5900X? I think I do, but I do have that 3900X and some 3950X stuff. But you could sell a RAM, or you could sell half your RAM and just run one stick, which we've seen on when I did that test with the AM5 platform. 1 and 2 sticks of RAM wasn't really that actual big of a difference as it was with AM4. Things are a little bit different when it comes from AM4 to AM5 generations in terms of RAM and stuff, where let's just take remembering back when we were doing all the AM4 tests when we first started CPU mining, lower latency mattered a lot on RandomX. Obviously, you needed your 2 megabytes L3 cache per thread, but that's the CPU. But when it came to the RAM, lower latency and less speed was better. We had CL16s, looser timings at, say 4,000 megahertz or 3,800 and stuff. Those RAM sticks actually used more power and produced less hash rate. So that was crazy, because the faster RAM was slower on Monero and used more power on AM4. And then one stick was more efficient and stuff. Now moving on to AM5, the faster speeds do a bit more, not necessarily the lower latency on AM5. So faster speeds on AM5 seems to do more. And the one stick versus two stick was pretty close to comparison in terms of random X mining, which means you'd hardly lose any hash if you converted your rigs and sold half your RAM and only ran one stick. You wouldn't really lose that much hash, and you'd actually be slightly less efficient, is what I found in my test. I need to do these tests again because it just seems weird, but I have been noticing that things have been pretty opposite from the AM4 to the AM5 transition in terms of RAM and random X mining and just mining in general. So I still see a lot of people talking like, really get your latencies down because you're going to boost all your hash rate up and stuff. And, I haven't really seen that happen that much. Now, obviously, manual tweaking your RAM will still perform a lot of good, but just doing your basic tests of, your, what's it called? Your XMPs and one stick versus two stick and stuff like that, we're seeing complete opposite reactions as we did between AM4 and AM5's generation. So it's kind of neat to see that. So, in terms of the AM4, it's tricky. You do get better efficiency by a decent amount on AM4, but you can still run everything. You can sell half your RAM, so you can still run all your rigs. Same thing with AM5. You're better off almost for the price of the way AM5 RAM is right now. You should probably sell half your RAM and you could still run all your rigs, and then you could get all that money back and then pretty much triple your RAM prices when the whole AI market crashes and all the RAM floods back into the market. So you could still mine on your CPUs, especially on AM5, with half the RAM and not really notice that you're only running half the RAM, and then, buy it all back when everything's dirt cheap, and then you'll be able to build into it. The other thing you could do is, that's another thing I was looking at, is because RAM's so expensive, you could buy it all up. I can't afford it right now, but essentially I could double my farm's capacity without buying any RAM at all, because I could just convert all my 2-stick rigs into single-stick rigs. Double my farm up in terms of CPUs, go from 22 or 23, however many 7000 series I have, and, go to 40 some and not have to buy a single stick of RAM, because I just cut it in half and I won't really notice any difference there between 2 sticks and 1 stick. So that kind of makes sense. So it all depends the situation you're in. Obviously, because, I'm almost bankrupt here, I'd probably be better off selling some RAM instead of doing that double up thing and, buying it all back later on when it's super cheap. But it all depends on the situation and what you want to look in. But I have noticed AM4 versus AM5 has been pretty different in terms of generations. Yusuf says F power, it's all about hash rate. Now that's if you have free power, which you have, Yusuf Putz, you have free power. So that's what matters to you. If you have free power or 2-cent power, crank up your hash rate and overclock everything all you can. But for most home miners, it is all about power. Okay, continuing on here. What do we got here? Is the pirate sold all those AM4 stuff here? What do we got? Same efficiency, but it will still cost $1,000 per AMD rig. Yeah, that's what it is. Panda says my numbers are wrong. I don't know. I went back there. I didn't see him really say anything about that. He just said, I don't know. But no, we went to there. What do we got here? Also, what if Bitmain updates the software to overcome the issue? See, I was wondering that as well, Fully Electric. I kind of went through that in that video, I think. What if Bitmain, we don't actually know. We just know what Bitmain is saying based on their specs on their website. We haven't seen a model. We don't know how it actually performs. Usually with Bitmain models, they do run pretty close to the hash rate that they report on their website before you buy them. Sometimes they're a little bit higher, and sometimes, they're also a little bit less in power. So usually with Bitmain, you expect a better miner to emerge from what you get. Now, if it's a thing where they update their website, now it's going to be 1.2 mega hash, they actually ask you to say, hey, you know what? Now you have to pay us extra because you get an extra 200 mega hash when, it didn't change their twigs. They didn't overclock nothing. They just changed their firmware a little bit or something. So we don't know. So, maybe Bitmain comes out. But remember, this Random X V2 is coming out based on what the XM rig dev is guessing is in their hardware. So remember, these numbers could be totally wrong. There could be zero nerf whatsoever to the X9 because we don't know what their actual hardware is, because unless the XM rig dev is part of Bitmain and he's, I don't know, knows what they have in them already, because he's just guessing about their hardware right now. So he's just basing these numbers off. So he probably has a test, maybe he has a risk 5 CPU somewhere, maybe the latest one, and he's using it to test the algorithm. But maybe he's wrong about the hardware and we don't know how it's actually going to be. So there's still a lot of pointed fingers, ifs, ands, or buts until a test net emerges and we can test our CPUs just to see how different our default CPUs are in terms of better efficiencies and stuff, to compare that to versus default Bitmain numbers. And then we need the release of that. Now, another thing is, because I don't have my X5 by Fully Electric, you obviously do have X5s. We're going to need you to test the test net when it finally emerges. That way we can at least see how the X5 performance is, and we'll have another idea of how much the X9 could possibly be nerfed. Like if the X5 goes from 212 kilohash down to 100 kilohash, well, that is a 50% nerf on risk. Now, obviously, the X9 is running newer, better architecture RISC-V chips, but is it still going to see that 50% nerf? Is it going to see more? So we have no idea. But until we see a test net, and then we see Fully Electric or someone actually test an X5 and see what the hash rate is, then we can start getting better ideas of what things could possibly look like. So hopefully I answered that question. As for firmware, I don't think a firmware update or anything will fix the algorithm. You're not going to get more hash rate out of fixing the firmware. The firmware is tweaking. There's like tweaking a miner. I get that, but obviously they are working this algorithm around the fact of nerfing Bitmain and producing 7950Xs and stuff like that to have better efficiencies. So we just have to wait and see how it all plays out. It's pretty much all we can really do right now. It's 5K right now. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just take a look at Bitmain here. Not sure how much this thing is. Bitmain. I don't want to link it in. Bitmain right here. Clicking on it. Let's take a peek. See, now the other thing though. Oh yeah, guys, if you guys are looking for any type of crypto miners, use them links in the description. If you have missed it, the court in the States just revoked all Trump's tariffs. So that means no more tariffs. That's another thing. I'd say Bitmain, you get massive tariffs when you order through them because they don't decrease the value. They don't do any of that stuff. So you also get hit with huge fees when you order from Bitmain. But now it also looks like tariffs were revoked, all the ones that were putting on over the past couple of years from Trump. The Supreme Court did against it. Now keep in mind, Trump is now going to sign another order to put on another 10% for everybody to try to bring it back because obviously he's mad right now. He's upset with the decision, but who cares? Point is, it's being revoked. So there could be a little window in here where if you want to order some stuff, you got to do it ASAP if you want to avoid tariffs because she's going to start slapping on more again to try to make up for that. So obviously, I'm from Canada, so I don't really know what's going on, but I know most of my viewers are from the USA there. So I keep a little bit of track, but I don't really pay attention to exactly what's going on because honestly, I don't really care too much about all that, but yeah. Anyway, continuing on, where is let's just take a peek. See here, altcoin miners, XMR, sold out. So here's the X9. Oh, $5,600 a unit is what it's saying. 5,600. Now it's a subscription. I don't know what it means by this. Is that just subscribe for updates? Because maybe pre-orders are over now or something. I don't know all that crap. Not doing that. But anyway, that's where we're sitting on this at this point in time. Let's go back to there. All right, continuing on in the live chat, trying to catch up with all the stuff here. J-Rod D, also keep in mind that the Monero project devs are anti-ASIC machines. They could go V3 much sooner. That's true as well, J-Rod. They have no problem destroying ASIC. Now, the thing with the X5 and X9 is it's not an ASIC. So it is still CPU. So technically they are hindering CPUs, which some people might not like. Because, what if like, okay, I went out there because Bitmain is doing this on the X9, they must be making a bunch of money off this, right? So that mean we could buy our own RISC chips a lot cheaper and have our own X9 for half the cost of or even a 20% of the cost of what Bitmain is, because who knows what their markup is, especially when, Monero smashed $700 also. So could we go out and buy our own brand new RISC chips and build our own X5? That's a possibility. And all of a sudden we see this coming in and now they're nerfing it. So there's going to be, any way you look at it, there's always an angle where something's good and something's bad. But when we're looking at, most people's home CPUs and, decentralization and consumer grade, obviously people aren't going out and just buying RISC-V stuff. We have Intel CPUs, we have Ryzen CPUs. That's usually what they mean. What Monero is trying to stick to is for decentralization is nothing specific on any side. It's most likely compared for all the consumers at home. Okay, so continuing on this, people thought it was possible to take the X5 to other stuff, but it was a bad call. Yes, it never did get an update there, and don't expect the X9 to. I know some people in chat, they're saying, yeah, well, we can just do this, we can just do that. There are some websites claiming the X9 can mine Zep. So far, that is a lie. Bitmain is still saying it's a Monero miner, not a anything else miner. So, yeah, don't expect it to be able to mine anything else. Don't expect new firmware to emerge to make it. Now, if it does do that, that's an added bonus. But don't purchase it to expect it to happen, because then you will be most likely disappointed. What do we got here? So full elections, that's what I'm doing with it. Hit loads of XMR blocks and 2 miners. I earn like 4x more than pool mining. Yeah, the X5s are awesome. Solo mining, the old Monero. You're using 2 miners, awesome. Are you getting that converted to Bitcoin? I can't remember all the blocks I always use. I liked using, what pool is that I always used? My Monero pool for solo mining was yeah, Hashbolt. I used Hashbolt for every time I solo mined it. I don't know. I like Hashbolt's little UI and stuff there. It's not sponsored or anything, but that's just the pool I've always used when I mine Monero solo mining and stuff. Obviously, I guess you just run your own node. That's something you could do, or you could try. P2 pool is okay, but you are sharing that with everybody. So yeah, there's that. Is it worth 45 CPUs to crack it? To crack what? What do we crack it? Oh, man. My throat's getting really dry and sore right now. Oh, Panda's in the house. What's going on, Panda? I'm just catching up. It jumped up onto me. So, wait. I got to scroll back up and see where we were on the questions here. Okay, we went through that. Okay, I went through fully electric there. With server RAM, DDR5 kit, especially 12 channel, Epics. Oh, yeah. That, especially with the new Ryzen, the Epics and stuff. Wow, those things are way more expensive than an X9. Like, you could buy 2 X9s for 1 Epic. That's definitely not worth it, especially if you just want to mine Monero. Hold on a second. Oh, I had to hack up half my lungs, I think. Whew. I need a drink, too. My throat's starting to hurt. Oh, yeah, still not feeling the healthiest. Ooh. But yeah, like I said, us crypto miners, we're all going bankrupt. So I had to do a live stream or something today because tonight Sabbath starts. So I won't be streaming tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. Maybe tomorrow night after Sabbath, sundown, I will have a live stream again. But we'll see what happens there. Continuing. Bitmain never fails to sell their release waves. Yeah, still going to pick up one of those Nerdox miners. Was it okay? I dropped some money on BTC right at 81K, and then it dipped. Yeah, I think the bottom of Bitcoin is probably, it's going to be 35 to 50K, and that'll happen around October. So just be ready for that one. If you really want to buy Bitcoin, I'd probably just hold off for a few more months. But again, not financial advice. Do whatever you want. You know, getting Bitcoin now is still better than getting Bitcoin at 170,000 possibly in 2029, right? So, yeah. You're grabbing the X9 and cracking it. Yusuf's going to crack it wide open. Well, get an X5. If you can crack the X5, you'll most likely be able to crack the X9. I probably test on the X5 instead of going overboard expecting the X9 to be crackable. So, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. What do we got here? Mining is dead. Everyone turn off down. There's Panda. There's his entrance. Panda comes in, enters it, and drops the mic. Mr. Steal Your Blocks. I would love to have, yeah, Jazzminer X44. I've been emailing them, and that thing's like over a year overdue. What is happening with the X44, is it like discontinued, not even going to release? Like, or are they waiting and still praying on their knees that they need ETC to pump and then they'll release it so they don't go bankrupt in development or something? I don't know. Like, this machine has been at mining, what is it? What's that? Mining Disrupt for what? 2 years in a row. It was there last year. And yeah, it's been at Mining Disrupt showing a couple years in a row, and yet it's still not released. So what the heck is going on with the X44? I have no idea. Maybe it's a miss. Maybe the X44 in reality is another hash blade. Like, where the hell is that thing? I should have said that. Oh, sorry. Forgive that word. Bad word. But, like, where is the hash blades? Oh, they're going through another thing. It's at least another 4 months. Like, hash blades. Come on. All right. Anyway, I know everyone's probably laughing and got a chuckle out of that, the hash blade. We'll wait for Panda to have a drink of some tea or something, and then we'll say something like Raptorium's going to flip Bitcoin. I still got all my bags, my Raptorium bag. I'm holding on to them. You never know. They're building. They're doing things. We're going to the moon one of these days. Just imagine. What's that? One of these days, Raptorium's going to make us rich. Rabid says 47 CPUs. Oh, Panda, did you say is wrong on the next side? Yeah, you so don't start drama. He likes drama. He loves the drama. Oh, man. That's funny. What do we got here? He's an ASIC single purpose combo. What do we have? I will scrap X9 firmware and load native RISC BIOS. I've never even seen what a BIOS on a RISC chip even looks like. Does anybody have one out there? I was looking at RISC chips, but then, I got bankrupt and I can't get any, so I don't even know. It'd be interesting to see, a RISC chip though, and, kind of have it on a motherboard and see if it does anything. Obviously, you gotta like program your own stuff into those. So that's more on Panda's IT alley. He could do that. Oh man. It's even worse. He's gonna cry. He's gonna what? We're gonna try others. Yay, no more tariffs for now. Yeah. But yeah, he's gonna try some others for sure. Gonna load Ubuntu onto the X9. I guess you could do that. And then you find some drivers and however that would work. How much would it be worth to load Ubuntu on the X9? I have no idea because we don't know how they're putting things together, how they're talking to each other. For all we know, Bitmain, you need their special firmware for the RAM to even work. Like, we don't know what kind of special stuff they got running in there and how it's set up or anything like that. I don't know. I have no idea. Moms here says, stop searching for new projects on crypto and started raising chickens. There you go. Raise some chickens, get some fresh eggs out there. That's the way to do it. I think I'm going to start a chicken farm too. It probably makes more. Oh, man. All right. I think I finally caught up on all the chat there. Frogman Mining's in the house. Been here for 52 minutes. 52 minutes. Anybody know? Anyone got a score in the hockey game? What's going on here? USA versus who's USA playing today? Is it Slovakia? Who won 2 hours ago? Watch hockey's man's day 14. 9 minutes ago. Following live. Is it still on right now? Because I'm live streaming. I want to see who wins this. NBC live. What's the score? Back to back. Okay, that's 20th. That's today. I don't know. I don't got a score on that. It's 2-2 right now. What period? 2-2. What period? I just want to know. I just want to know if they're going to make it to the final so they can get beaten by our Canadian team or not. That's all I care about. I just want to know who we're playing in the finals. It's 2-2 right now, so interesting. You beat Sweden. Yeah, but you're playing. What? You beat. What are you talking about, Yusuf? You beat Sweden. That was yesterday or 2 days ago. You're playing again right now. Slovakia hockey fans are insane. Nice. How much? So what is it? The third period? How much time is left in the period? Guess I'll bring up my Olympic app and see. Olympics. Engage. Schedule. All right, what do we got here? Ice hockey. Well, I saw 2-2. I see 5-0 in the second period. U.S. is destroying Slovakia. 5-0, second period. That's what I see there. Oh, yeah, I watched the Canada game earlier today. I'm just curious how the States are doing right now because their game was starting right around when I started streaming. Canada hockey sucks. We're gonna mop the floor. As poor States, they're already crying. They don't even want to really win. They're probably gonna fail into this next semifinal and not even want to play Canada. They'll rather just play for the bronze here because they're scared. They're scared. No one can match the men's team. Well, I guess maybe we'll go blindfolded. That way the States at least might have a chance. I'm just kidding, guys. It'll be a good game. It'll be pretty crazy. There'll probably be a few scraps in there. It'll be pretty insane. Live. Yeah, but I don't think someone's streaming it. I thought you're not allowed to do that. Like CBC has all rights or something in Canada here. So if you like stream any of the official Olympic coverage, you get like copywritten and taken down and things like that. So I'm not even going to click on the link because I don't think you're allowed to actually broadcast that. Like I can't remember. I was watching some other show. Yeah, there's some other, I think it was CTV or some other newscast or something. And because Global or someone has the rights, at least in Canada, that they could only show clips and like, pictures and things like that. They couldn't actually show more than a certain length. So yeah, there's a lot of rules on that. It's the internet. Yeah, it's the internet, but it's also on YouTube, and YouTube is you guys know YouTube. So yeah, you gotta be really careful when it comes to the rules. So yeah, I'm not even gonna click that for the live stream. Oh man, craziness. Anyway, so do we have any last minute questions or anything to kind of go over and talk about here before we end up wrapping this up? Because my nose I can feel it starting to pressure up, and it's getting rough. It's getting rough. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting times for sure, especially when we need a test net to see how our CPUs do, and we gotta wait to see what X5 numbers are looking like to get an idea of how well that X9, how much of a nerf it could potentially see. Have run the hash per watt test on your latest CPU hardware for XMR. I believe so. My latest stuff, like let me see. No, it would be this one. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, yes and no, I guess. Crap. This is something I should have did before I built it in my workstation, but I should have put the 9950 X3. I've always had it in the X870. I should have put it into one of those smaller, USD 3Hs or whatever, the ones I use for all my 7000 series. I should have put it in there before. Oh, but I wouldn't have been able to run the 8000 8000 megahertz RAM or 6000 megahertz RAM. Here's 8000. So we got 6 normally, and yeah, I needed this motherboard for the 8000. But yeah, I should have ran it in the other boards, which is 6000, to actually see how this went, because it was using a bit more power, but that's due to the fact that I was utilizing X870 motherboard. The motherboards do boost the power, like depending on the difference between them, it could be anywhere from 10 watts upwards to 50, 60 watts of just idling. And when you're mining away and stuff, you could see 60 watts just coming from the motherboard itself, depending on generation. Obviously, an X870 is one of your bigger ones, so it uses more power. So it made these numbers not look amazing, but the numbers were still pretty good. But yeah, the motherboard was using a decent amount more power, and that's what I think we were kind of seeing it. So I should have used this CPU into the same motherboard I used my previous tests in. So that's the only thing I didn't do, but for the most part, yeah, I tested it. And then the 9950 X3D is what I got in my workstation now. So yeah, I'm not taking it apart to do that. So yeah, that sucks. Anyway, that's where I'm at in terms of that. So I should have, yeah, I do have numbers on pretty much all my hardware. But one thing I don't have in the spreadsheet is my AM4 stuff, like 3900X and stuff. That was all done in old videos and on paper. So, one of these days I think I got to convert that into the spreadsheet so I can actually see comparisons there. Do you still have Rig 5? Yeah, I got Rig 5. Rig 5 is here. Rig 5 is still here. Let me just bring up where is. I don't even know where my Hive OS is. Yeah, I haven't mined anything for so long. Can't even find it. Actually, no, I had them on a couple days testing something. 23 hours ago, I had them on. Technical maintenance scheduled. Oh, no. But we do have a Rig 5 right here. See? Rig 5. 3900X. Right there. But yeah, this is my farm right now. So yeah, there's a 5900X, 3900, 5950s, and two 3950s. So yeah, that. Still no more news about 9950X 3D. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, what's going on with those new ones? And same with some other stuff with I can't remember what it was. The 24 cores that are coming as well for AM6. Now, oh yeah, I also got some stuff fixed on my website a little bit, like my crypto news is working again. See that? We click on it. Now we got crypto news is back. So hey, yeah, if you guys ever want to come out here, check out some news. Yeah, always, every day you guys should come out to my website here and just click on a couple ads. That'll definitely help out the channel as well. I'm gonna put that in chat though. If you guys want to check out some latest cryptocurrency news stuff, put it there. I got this widget and stuff working again finally. But yeah, like we see SCOTUS here strikes down Trump's tariffs, but alternate plans brewing, which we know he's going to add the 10% into every country again. We got specialized AI detects 92% of real-world DeFi exploits. Wall Street boost, what is that? Bitmine, whatever they want to do it, stakes as DeFi lenders buckle on liquidity. Don't really care about DeFi stuff. U.S. Court on Trump tariffs, price predictions for this. Yeah, who cares about price predictions? Bitcoin mining difficulty rebounds 15% as U.S. miners recover from winter outage. And then Cortex flow. We got a whole bunch of stuff here. Bitcoin pops and drops. The Supreme Court strikes down. Yeah, so we got the news channel is happening back on the website again. So that's awesome. Go back into home. Anyway, guys, I guess what we got here. Do you still went to that? Unless I have to go back to your old videos. Yeah, they're in older videos, my AM4 numbers. So I'll have to, I'm going to go through my notebook and try to find everything again. But they're pretty funny. Actually, I want to find something here I thought was funny. Where is it? Oh, it's probably not here anymore. Oh, yeah, I don't see it here anymore. Darn it, it was here for so long. I don't know, it's not here no more. But yeah, they're in older videos. I have to go through my notepads and kind of find them and stuff again. But anyway, guys, I guess we're going to wrap up this video. I do appreciate everyone for showing up to this live stream, though. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new and watching this later. Share the live stream and other videos around if you find them interesting. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.